So about a month ago, I did a video covering the phenomenon that was Wings of Redemption versus Boogie2988. It was promoted as the heaviest boxing fight in the history of the sport, and thanks to the infamous history between these two characters, it didn't take much for this fight to attract a decent amount of hype. Even I was pretty excited, and did a video going over the build-up, and gave my thoughts on how I believe the outcome of this fight would play out. And to my surprise, my expectations were not accurate whatsoever. Well, not exactly. I did predict that Wings would be the winner of this fight, as a lot of other people did, but I'm sure most of us didn't expect that he would win in such dominant fashion. Wings showcased a decent knowledge of boxing fundamentals. Please take that as a light compliment. And instead of him swinging wildly and completely gassing out like I thought he would, he demonstrated control and won this fight via TKO, proving that out of the two fat asses in the ring, he was the most capable. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves here. Boogie was fucking horrible. All the amount of shit talking he was doing, all of the promises of training seriously and being in supreme condition didn't matter one bit, because as soon as that bell rang, all of the apparent confidence was thrown completely out the window with this performance. This nigga fought for 2 rounds and only got 1 clean punch off. Simply amazing. You know, I think I would have rather had Cyrax in the ring. Of course he would have still lost, but I'm pretty sure he still would have did better than Boogie. Alright, maybe, but still. The only thing Boogie did that night was prove that he was nothing more than a glorified 400-pound punching bag. The only defense this fat nigga could muster was holding his hands in front of his face and praying to God that Wings would eventually stop punching him. It was pretty obvious that Boogie had already been mentally defeated before the match could even begin, and he even admitted so on his stream reacting to the fight. I don't know if it was Boogie trying to save any amount of dignity he had left, but he was building Wings up like he was the most intimidating man on the planet.
But right here is where I knew I fucked up, says Parzival. Parzival, you are correct. I got the Vaseline on my face. Did they put Vaseline on your face? You know, keep your face from getting split open. And my cut man's like looking at me like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm looking across the ring at Wings, and I'm seeing how much stronger Wings is, how much more mobile Wings is. And I'm like, how am I going to hit this guy? How the hell am I going to hit this guy? And then I want you to look at Wings here. I want you to look at Wings here, okay? He looks like a man who's willing to pick me up and throw me out of that ring. He looks like a man who's willing to chew me up and spit me out. He looks like a cold stone killer. Look at that man. Look at that man. He is ready to slap me upside the head. And I'm looking across. Look at those eyes. Look at those eyes. They're cold eyes, like a shark eyes, like a doll's eyes. They're black eyes, like a demon's eyes. You know. I knew I had fucked up right there, dude. Let's watch it again. Here's where I knew I'm in trouble. Watch this.
Oh my God.
Okay, until you've had a 400-pound man hit you in the face, you don't know what you're in store for. I got hit previously in training. But until you have a 400-pound man hit you in the face, you genuinely do not know what it's going to feel like. And once you know, well, God help you. Immediately, my body said, all we need to do is get through this. I don't care if we win. I don't care if we lose. I just don't want to get knocked down. So a lot of people have asked, Boogie, why were you talking so much shit before the fight if you knew you were going to get your ass beat? Because I'm an entertainer, baby. Let me tell you something. Oh, yeah. I grew up watching WWE wrestling. I know how it's done. I was trying to go in there just to be as entertaining as possible. And let's be honest, I knew I wasn't going to perform very well in the ring. So if you know you're not going to do well in the ring, why wouldn't you try to do well before you get into the ring? Why not have a great walkout? Why not have a great press conference? Why not try to make it as entertaining as possible? Because I knew the fight was going to be a nightmare. After hanging out with Wings for a couple of days, having to do press conferences and stuff with that, and seeing how much more mobile he was than me and how much stronger than he was than me, I knew I was about to get obliterated. I was going to get destroyed, dude.
And I gotta be real with you. I genuinely feel bad for anyone who actually put money down on Boogie to win that fight. Hearing that he himself didn't even believe in his ability to win would discourage anyone who unironically supported him. But nonetheless, even though this fight wasn't as big a brawl as we were expecting, Wings was able to earn the respect he was aiming for, and was able to shine in the light of popularity once again. He even gave a heartfelt interview after the fight about his recently deceased cat Rocco.
A couple final things for me. Look, I heard Harley said that you were asking for a PK reunion. Is that correct?
Hopefully we get one popping.
Yeah. I mean, Carl didn't really think that you wouldn't win, so I guess you surprised them too.
Yeah, hopefully. I hope they watched. They should have did a stream reaction.
Got a text from Woody, baby.
Cool.
A couple final things for me. Look, how hard was it to do this with the passing of Rocco so recently as well?
Thank you. Oh, big ups to Big Rocco, man. Like, for those of you who don't know, my cat died a week before this, and I was in pieces, and like I missed 3-4 days of training because of that. And Rocco, this is for you, buddy.
Was there part of this that this was a good little distraction away from that, so you can take your mind away from it?
100%. I mean, I'm tearing up now, man. I love my cat. Yeah.
I'm sorry to make you tear up, Wings. It was a pleasure speaking to you this week. You've been really accommodating. Congratulations on the win to you both. Thank you for speaking to Seconds Out.
Thank you, sir.
And from the comments displayed from that video, or the overall admiration Wings was receiving, it appeared that maybe this was the push Wings needed. Maybe beating the shit out of a 50-year-old fat man was the spark Wings was looking for. Maybe the redemption arc was finally upon us.
Rock bottom.
Everyone who was a part of the Wings sphere, or introduced to it thanks to this fight, were all awaiting the day for Wings to return and give us more insights on his thoughts about the boxing match, and maybe even tease who his next opponent might be. And he followed through with that, reacting to the fight, and also stating that he was indeed looking forward to fighting again, but he was going to have to drop some pounds before doing so.
By the way, you failed, but I'll give you some slack. The 50s Macros make that challenge Ethan Ralph right now, buddy. I challenged Ethan Ralph in the interview, man. Like I called him out on the press conference. I challenged Ethan Ralph at the press conference. Next job, camping trip level 2. Maybe. Like, but here's the thing, right? Like, I don't want to fight again at 400 pounds. Like, it's an experience, but I much prefer to fight like 350 or 340. I'm hoping that the next next thing I miss the next card, and then I jump on the card after that, which would give me like 4 months to get that weight off and fight at 350. That's what I'm hoping to do. You know, people are out here saying Badland Chugs could beat me up, and I'm like, really? Badland Chugs? No way, no. Like people on the PK subreddit thinking Badland Chugs can beat your boy up. I'm like, nah.
He was even showing interest in reappearing on the PKA, after years of showing nothing but disdain for the podcast and the host.
I've been invited on PK, but that's not what I want to do. What I want to do is a real life PK meetup. I don't want to jump onto a podcast. I want to get them motherfuckers out of their house and actually meet up and do one live.
And this was a sign that Wings could possibly be heading in the right direction. Him showing interest in trying to maintain a healthier lifestyle and leaving behind this depressing attitude he's been dealing with for years gave him a newfound positive momentum. And I have to admit, even I found myself pretty happy with the fact Wings won this fight. The commitment he showed by actually leaving his comfort zone and putting in the training and effort to actually win this fight, along with the positive attitude he was showing, was enough to put me on the bandwagon, and hopeful that a redemption arc was around the corner for our nigga Richard. So fans showed up in the masses, boosting his view counts to numbers it hasn't achieved for a while. He was getting showered with donations and constant praises for being successful in the fight, and hopefully using this momentum to put his life back on track. And no boy, did he have quite the ego after this fight. He thought he was such a badass after knocking around someone who we all know isn't exactly fighter material. But this didn't stop Wings from calling himself a professional fighter and act like he knew everything about the sport of boxing.
I don't know why. Like it's such a good experience. Like I feel like even with Boogie, I feel like Boogie came out a winner in this fight. Like, he showed up, he did everything, and like I was telling him backstage, I'm like, man, I'm bigger than you, I'm younger than you, I have an athletic background, I'm built like a wall, because like I got big broad shoulders, like I have like an athletic frame. Boogie, if he put Boogie back out there, Boogie was coming back dazed. I was gonna hit, like, I'd already planned on it. I already had the overhand right ready, because like what I was gonna do, I was gonna do a low jab, I was gonna do a left hook, and I was gonna come right in with overhand right. That's what I had ready for him when he came back out the corner if he got through the 8 count, and that most likely would have put him down. I mean, why would I let Sam Hyde train me? I'm an actual professional fighter. I would kill Sam Hyde. I don't know when the next fight's going to be. Like, I don't want to be on the next card. Like I said before, I'd like to have a good 4 months to try to get to 350. And because like my competition isn't going to get any tougher. But, you know, why fight at 400 when you can fight at 340 and have way more endurance?
He even began to claim that his neighbor and ex-best friend Aaron, yes, the same Aaron who accused him of a bunch of shit and pussy out of those allegations when confronted by Wings, only did so because of his intimidating fighting ability.
To be perfectly honest, Aaron knew I could throw down. That's why Aaron was so afraid of me when he was on camera, and why he came, because he didn't want me to go to his house, because I would have went to his house and you would have seen how big of a piece of shit he lives in and how big of a piece of shit that dude actually is. Because like Aaron lives like a bum. Like, Aaron was a guy, like I've always said this, Aaron is my neighbor. I wouldn't even consider him my friend at this point. He was a dude that would come over when we were younger because my mother was friends with his mother. That's all he knows about us.
But even though Wings was getting overwhelming amounts of support, there were those who thought that many people had their expectations set into the wrong person. They knew that this fight would do little to actually push Wings to work on himself, and that this whole redemption arc was nothing more than just an illusion, a facade that was eventually going to turn into Wings slowly crawling back into his former shell. This event sparked a little war in the comments of Wings related content, where people would fight over whether Wings had really changed himself for the better. But over the course of a few weeks, the answer to those questions started to reveal itself as Wings started to doubt if he was really ready to commit to another boxing match, mainly out of fear of the opponents being offered to him being more fighting literate than a 50-year-old man with a multitude of health problems.
I might not fight again. Like, that's a real possibility. Like, I don't like fighting. I mean, like, I'm super uncomfortable going to like some kind of boxing gym. Kelly doesn't want me to fight again. Yeah, the money really isn't that great either. I mean, it's better than nothing, but you know, it is. And like, honestly, the fact that people know that I have some boxing ability at this point just means my opponents are going to get tougher and tougher, and the tougher your opponent, the more likely you're going to get hurt. Because let's be real, guys, I'm 400 pounds and I'm not going to start a boxing career on the wrong side of 30. It is what it is. You won't be up against professionals. Harley fought a professional wrestler. Like, the person Keemstar wants to fight now was pretty much a wrestler. It's like, dude, I'm not beating wrestlers up. He wants me to fight Billy the Fridge. Like, the two opponents he came to me with was like Badland Chugs and Billy the Fridge. And like, Badland Chugs is like 6'5". Billy the Fridge is like 5'8", and he used to be really heavy, but like, he's super athletic. It doesn't matter if he has zero stamina. I have zero stamina. But the fact is, he's so much bigger than I am. He's got a good 5-6 inches on me. And that 5-6 inches stand to wingspan too, because generally your arm length is the same as your tip of your fingers together is usually about the same as your height, right? So if he's 6'5", he's got a bigger reach than me. So the entire fight, I'd be like overcoming his jab, parry and work the inside. I don't think you guys realize how hard it is to get hit by a 400-pound person. Like, getting hit by a 400-pound person isn't the same as getting hit by like some dude that's, you know, $140. Like, and I'm not trying to big myself up. I bruised 3 knuckles on Boogie. Like, I bruised from this knuckle here all the way over, hitting Boogie with 16-ounce gloves. I was landing power shots. He would have been on his ass, right? Like, it wasn't like I was just love tapping him. And I haven't ruled out fighting again. But I was telling Keemstar, like, I really want to get this nerve in my back fixed before I fight again. Because I don't want to fight again at 400. I want to fight again at 350. Which my next fight might be whoever wins the quartering versus Review Tech USA. That's a possibility too.
And now the hype surrounding Wings' name after winning the fight was slowly beginning to fade. And since Wings is incapable of capitalizing on this large amount of momentum, he can only sit in the same chair he's been sitting in for years now and complain about how his viewership is on the steady decline.
Dude, I just got done with a major fight, and I was on ESPN and like every fighting network in the thing, and I'm pulling less viewers than I did before I got the boxing match. There's a reason why I've been down on myself. It's because nobody cares about me. There's like what I do isn't entertaining. I don't have enough people to follow me, and like I'm bad at what I do. Full time since 2015. That means I've been doing this for 8 years now. I should have more than 250 viewers. I should be pulling 1,000 every day, and I shouldn't even have to worry about money at this point, 8 years into a streaming career. But I'm treading water, and that's bad.
I feel like I stated this enough, but I should repeat the fact that he basically beat up a 50-year-old man who couldn't throw a punch to save his life. I don't understand what type of fame he feels he's entitled to. You would have thought Wings, of all people, should know that this type of attention usually doesn't last if you don't give your audience something they can latch on to. He wasn't showing anything worth watching, just the same thing as usual, all the while making these fake promises to hopefully keep his newfound audience interested in his streams. But not much changed. Nothing changed at all, really. He was still sitting there complaining about trolls clipping streams, about the viewership and money dropping back the numbers it was getting before the fight, and was still blaming his teammates for losing in Rainbow Six Siege. So of course the people who fought tooth and nail to defend Wings and were completely sold on the idea of the redemption arc, they got bored, so they left. There was zero footage of him training to fight again, nothing about him sticking to a healthy diet, and that positive attitude went right out the window, right along with the redemption arc. Also, that whole PKA podcast idea was canceled because for some strange reason, Wings wanted to do the podcast in person, instead of being a normal fucking person and just doing it online like any other guest would.
I haven't talked to Woody in 2 weeks. I haven't heard back from Woody. I told Woody that we should do it live, like in person, and we could go to Kyle's house if he doesn't want to travel, and that's just all I've heard from it.
So now that all the negative attention was returning, it all led to Wings regretting doing the fight in the first place. And any positive idea one of his viewers had got turned down with some lame excuse of it not working out for him.
Alright. At this point, I'm banning the word boxing. Let me go do that. I'm sleepy as hell, but I gotta continue to stream. Realistically, I need to make another $130 before I go to bed. I don't want to talk about the boxing because the boxing's behind me at this point. Like, look at this. Look at it this way. I'm looking at my numbers right now. I got 88 subs in the last 30 days. Like, my last week, I got 10, 3, -7, -7, -20, -11. Like, at this point, more people are leaving the channel than they're coming into the channel. Twitch and Ash, hey, what would it take to get you back in the ring? I'm probably not. Twitch and Ash, I'm probably not. Because it doesn't give me no long-term success. Like, I'm looking for something to transition into, and I'm not. I'm 37. I'm 400. I'm morbidly obese. I'm not going to be a person that fights all the time. I'd be better off getting something that works behind the scenes. Don't want to talk about boxing. Do 10-minute timeouts when you see people trying to get around the term boxing and things like that, please. Let's talk about something else. Giant exercise. First off, I want to say great job on showing up and getting in the ring after you went from 1K viewers a day after stream to back to your normal numbers. People want to see a new you. It's not going to happen, man. I'm always going to be a fat person. And I thank you for the $50 donation, but like, I'm always going to be a fat person. I'm not going to be a person that does more than everything. It's like people went back and said, like, like, people feel like I squandered the hype. The hype was always going to be squandered. Because one, I'm pretty much done with the YouTube part of my life. Like, I don't want to make YouTube videos. Like, because, like, here's what happens when I make a YouTube video. It's going to get dislike bombed. There's going to be people in the comment section that just hate. Like, it's ridiculous. Now, let's go look at the comments on my videos. If he did this every day, he'd lose weight. Elbows at the impact, don't push your punches. Like, the people are, like, giving me tips on the boxing thing. He really ruined all the positivity he went through with the boxing match. There's never a positive comment. I just don't even fucking read them half the time now. You know, it breaks my heart about Wings. Every time he gets some kind of vindication, change in public perception, he actually seems to be on the trajectory of gaining fans back. For example, the fight everyone doubted he would show up. He throws it all away to be back to his man-child self. Weird, I dipped right in for the streak ended. Wings, imagine running a business that you'll never tell anyone when the business is open and you show up at the business whenever. People always trying to give me fucking advice. Checking Wings of Redemption. Box again, pimp. Here's Epic Yarn say he's proud of me. Thank you, Epic. That was the first good comment. And then the next comment's Epic Yarn. Anything that's not one of my mods. You know the character menu, right? Change the tier and delete the character. You can skip the campaign on new characters. After all the hype from the big box match, Wings couldn't redeem himself. You see why I'm getting tired of this, right? Every time I see it, it's just somebody talking about this shit. I don't want to talk about it. Like, I'm not going to change. It's not going to happen. Because I don't want to exercise. I don't want to center my channel around exercising. I don't. I like being fucking fat. I like eating. I like sleeping. My viewers already dropped. Actually, I regret ever doing the fight. My viewers are down. My subs are down. My interactions down. Everything is down across the board since before the fight. All of it.
I just don't know what Wings was expecting out of all this. Did he truly believe that people were gonna keep showing up to his streams no matter what just cause he beat Boogie? I'm appalled to see that he truly has learned next to nothing from this whole experience. The only takeaway he's had from this trip to London was that American Pepsi is better than the ones in the UK because ours has more sugar in it.
Wait, come on, man. Like, you live in England. You don't know what soda tastes like. Like, you don't get soda in England. You get the idea of soda in England. There is no actual soda in England. Yet, Pepsi Max is nicer than normal Pepsi in England. Normal Pepsi in England sucks ass. It is so bad. Like, if you had a real American Pepsi, that you would realize how lopsided that opinion is. Let me borrow this from you, Pete. This can is 12 ounces. There was 22 grams of sugar in that whole soda. Matter of fact, I can just bring that soda up. I don't have to calculate it. It's 11 grams. There's 2 servings in it, but I can go back and just... This is the English Pepsi right here. All right. It's got 11 grams of sugar. That's per 250 milliliters. A 20-ounce soda is 550 milliliters. So, like, this would have 22 to 23 grams of sugar for a 20-ounce Pepsi in England.
Here's why I say Wings of Redemption is the textbook definition of a quitter. He was handed the best possible outcome that changed the perspective of people who made fun of him pretty much throughout his whole streaming career. But instead of following through on promises he's kept after this, he would rather wallow in depression and hide behind excuses for not exercising or taking fights. He was so focused on the negativity of his trolls that he was blinded to the people who were actually there to watch him morph into a better person. I guarantee you, the only thing he had to do was follow through on his plan of losing weight. He could have even made a few YouTube videos going through his weight loss routine like he used to do in the past, and I'm pretty sure he would have seen a big turnaround. It might have not have been instant, but if he started to lose the weight and stuck to the uplifting attitude he was presenting, then maybe we all would have truly seen the redemption arc unfold. But no, Wings just couldn't stick to it because it's obvious he's not a mentally strong person. This reminds me of the whole FPS bootcamp era, where there were thousands on top of thousands of people willing to see Wings commit to this weight loss journey. His friend Kyle, who out of pure kindness remodeled his home and with the help of his generous fan base, raised $10,000 just to help this nigga lose weight. But even with all that, he just couldn't do it. And when he was confronted about his decision on leaving, he was just trying to find any excuse to walk out on the whole thing.
I want to hear what Woody's thinking, because he has this look of disgust on his face.
I'm partly looking for the next topic and doing a little research, but what am I thinking? I'm thinking that you get the kind of support that I wish I got, right? I will make, a COD video or something, give people what I think they're looking for, and I just get hated on and shitted on every video for months now. Right? There's no one supporting me. There's no one on my side. It feels like sometimes. There is. I know that real percentages. But you spent years insulting your subs. You spent years telling them they're scrubby dubbies. If they don't have a 3 KO, they suck. You spent years, blowing up on Twitter. And yet you have this level of support. They've all forgiven you. They've all turned around. And I'm like, fuck this guy, man. How does he get all this and I get shit on every day? Heaven forbid Painkiller already have a fucking beep in it. They will hang me from the highest fucking raptor for nothing, right? Heaven forbid I ever stub my toe. They'll kick my ass for kicking a table leg. You know, you on the other hand somehow live this fucking charmed life where you can do anything, it seems, and they will turn around and line up behind you and push you forward. They send you thousands of dollars. They give you tens of thousands of likes. You get hundreds of thousands of views. You lucky son of a bitch. And then you sit there in your chair quitting repeatedly. You've got Kyle and Kitty dragging you forward, giving you the motivation that you don't have yourself, and you still won't do it. You won't do anything. You just sit there and quit. They tell you what to eat. They cook your food and serve it to you like a pet. And if they don't, you don't eat. You lucky son of a bitch. You know, you are living at Kyle's house right now as they feed you and exercise you. And the world is lined up on your side. And, you know, like, is there anything you can do? Like, you lucky son of a bitch. That's what I'm thinking. You want to know what I'm thinking? How is the whole world carrying you?
That was what he's saying, essentially, no homo, that he loves you, that he cares that much about you.
It sounded to me like he feels like I get a free ride everywhere I go, which I guess I'm getting a free ride now, and I hate it. I don't like getting free rides.
You're not getting a free ride.
I am getting a free ride. I'm in somebody else's house. I'm not paying any bills there.
No, you have friends that are helping you. That's different from a free ride, and that's different from mooching. You have friends that care about you and want to help you in every facet of your life. You can't bring yourself to be like, you know what, I'm going to avail myself of these things. You think that you're mooching, and you use it as another rationalization for why you don't want to do this.
No, that's a new thing. Don't give him excuses. He never said that before. He's never thought that.
But
I have thought that,
Wings
Kyle.
is excuse mountain.
Or how about the whole camping trip idea, where he backed out literally at the last minute, and didn't even have the courtesy to tell his friends that he wasn't going. His main excuse for this was him believing he wouldn't make a good fit for the wilderness. And while there may be some truth to that, I wouldn't want Wings camping with me in the woods. That would be a complete disaster. The best thing he's good for in the wilderness is being a good distraction, just in case a bear attack might happen. But nonetheless, I believe the real reason he didn't commit to the camping trip was purely out of fear of him leaving his comfort zone. It's the reason people didn't believe he would fly out to London for the fight. Hell, people were surprised when he actually went through with the weight loss surgery. Examples of Jordy being a quitter goes further back even before his YouTube and streaming career, with him being a pretty decent athlete in high school. But the moment he was upstaged by someone else, he tried to get stronger by bulking up as much as possible. When he didn't achieve the desired performance he was going for, he just gave up and kept on eating, and along with that, turned into the man he is today.
I was watching a stream clip the other day, and it was probably the darkest thing I'd ever seen in Wings' stream before. And he went and produced a photograph, a framed picture, and he was like, this is me when I weighed, I want to say 240 pounds. And he shows the camera, and he's big, but he's 240 pounds, you know. Mm-hmm. And then he looks at that picture.
This is me when I was like 14. I think I was like 240, 250 in that picture.
And something happens. Something deep happened. He was just like a loss of hope. Like there was a moment where he was like, that's where I was, and this is where I am.
It's pretty obvious to see that throughout Wings' life. Whenever something doesn't turn out the way he wants, instead of looking for an alternative solution, even when it's suggested by other people, he'll just shut it all down and stick to what he knows best. He had the chance to turn this fight into something special, probably one of the biggest comebacks we had ever seen on the internet, but no. Working out is too hard for him. Being entertaining is too hard for him. And just like DSP, King Cobra JFS, or even Cyrax, he is drowning in a pool of his own misery. And when a life preserver is thrown into the water, he would rather drown than put in the energy to save himself. I personally believe that this was his last shot of redemption. He will never be offered an opportunity like this again. The only thing he could look forward to now is the Log Cow podcast with Boogie and whoever the third host might be. But who even knows if that podcast is still happening, since it's been suffering setback after setback? I remember back when the build up to this fight was happening, Keemstar told Boogie and Wings that they had finally made it to level 2. But if we learn anything from the past 2 months, I'll say that level 2 is just way too hard for Wings. It's too much of a challenge for his simple mind to comprehend. And I believe when it finally clicks for him, when all of this is over, he's gonna regret a lot of decisions he's made in the past. I guess at the end of the day, I'm just simply amazed how fast Wings took such a positive outcome and threw it right into the gutter. Wings is a person who knows he's in a bad position in life, but would do absolutely nothing to change it. And for that very reason, just like Darkseid failed, he will always be stuck on level 1.